Gaming Bolt presents 15 things you need to know before you buy For Honor. For blood, for glory, and for honor goes the song, and when Ubisoft's For Honor arrives next month, we'll find out for ourselves exactly how much bloodshed is necessary to win. The closed beta for multiplayer is currently ongoing, but what can you expect from For Honor when it releases on February 14th for Xbox One, PS4, and PC? Let's take a look at the 15 things you should know before buying the game. P2P matchmaking. Though Ubisoft hasn't come out and outright confirmed the same, leaked footage from the closed beta indicates that For Honor is using peer-to-peer matchmaking. That means no dedicated servers, which resulted in long matchmaking times during the alpha. This isn't to say the final product will have the same issue, but the lack of dedicated servers is annoying all the same. The faction war. Every PvP game needs some kind of metagame, and For Honor's is the faction war. Simply put, every time you complete a match, you receive war assets, the number being greater depending on your performance. This affects the amount of territory controlled, and the faction with the most territories wins the faction war for that period, thus earning rewards like emblems. Other loot has also been promised, and there are even leaderboards for top-scoring players. Campaign co-op support. For Honor isn't just about PvP multiplayer and duels. It also has a campaign focused on 3 factions, and the Force manipulating them behind the scenes. The jury's still out on how long the campaign is, but you don't have to experience it alone since co-op support is included. Remember to watch your friend's back without stabbing it because friendly fire. Despite the ability to attack with finesse and predict your enemy's moves, you may want to move as a pack to increase chances of survival. Then again, wouldn't 2v1s or 3v1s make fights unbalanced? That's where friendly fire comes in. If you're not careful, it's possible to hurt your teammates, thus giving an advantage to the enemy. For the team killers out there, well, happy hunting. The art of battle. The combat system in For Honor is its main draw, dubbed the art of battle. There's no blocking involved. You have 3 different stances to choose from and must either parry or counterattack against foes. It's also possible to change the placement of your weapon, thus allowing you to read enemy movements and even setting up feints in the process. It's this depth and strategy that sets For Honor apart from most hack-and-slash titles. Kensei, Raider, and the Warden. You won't just be playing as faceless soldiers in For Honor's campaign. The campaign will feature different protagonists with their own missions. Kensei is part of the samurai and has to escape from prison to restore his honor. The Raider is working to reunite Viking warborn clans to stop the senseless bloodshed among his people. Meanwhile, the Warden seeks purpose after years of meaningless fighting, coming across the Blackstone Legion in the process. Dominion mode supports player versus AI. So you want to get good at PvP, but don't want to dive right into the wolf's den. Perhaps you want to learn more about the maps. That's fair enough, and fortunately, For Honor allows you to queue up against AI opponents in Dominion. You'll still be playing alongside human teammates, but it's not a bad option for those who don't care about hardcore PvP. PC version by Blue Byte. Ubisoft Montreal is developing For Honor, but it's worth mentioning that Blue Byte is handling the PC version. This is both good and bad because Blue Byte is very experienced with the platform, having worked on Settlers and Anno franchises. However, it's also been responsible for some terribly optimized titles at launch, like Champions of Interia. We're not condemning the PC version of For Honor, but you might want to wait for feedback at launch before picking it up. Hero customization. As players level up in For Honor, they can earn all kinds of cosmetics to customize their heroes. The system is fairly deep with emblems, symbols, color patterns, and alternative outfits, shoulder pads, and much more available to customize. You can also customize your hero with different loot and weapons earned throughout drops on the battlefield, leveling up, or with in-game purchases. Always online. For Honor has already stirred up a bit of controversy for being always online. That's despite having a single-player campaign. To some extent, we can understand it if it means some stats and progress carries over into multiplayer. Regardless, if you're looking to get into the game just for its single player, you'll still need internet access. Microtransactions. Before you scream bloody murder about microtransactions in For Honor, it's worth explaining their usage. The in-game currency is steel and can be used to purchase upgrades. However, getting those upgrades means being a certain level, and that's only possible by playing the game. We're not sure if it'll prevent the community from being split as per director Damien Kaiken, but it's certainly not pay to win. Free post-launch maps and modes. If it's any consolation though, For Honor's post-launch content will be completely free. All future maps and modes won't cost you a dime, much like the business model followed by the likes of Titanfall 2 and Overwatch. We're not sure what that means for new heroes, but in terms of new content, you won't have to worry about extra spending. Balancing weapons. It was mentioned earlier that players can earn weapons through loot drops, in-game progression, or with currency. You may think that means an edge over other players thanks to superior weapons, and it's true that stats can be affected. However, weapon balance will emphasize favoring a particular stat and sacrificing another, thus allowing you to build towards certain playstyles. Bottom line, don't expect to rule over the crowd because you leveled up the fastest and found an OP weapon. At least that's the theory we hope. Anvil Next. After using its Anvil Next engine to develop Assassin's Creed Unity, Assassin's Creed Syndicate, and Assassin's Creed Rogue, Ubisoft began branching out with its usage. Open-world winter sports titles like Steep was developed on it, and For Honor will be the next major Anvil Next release. That would explain how it can manage crowds of soldiers, but hopefully For Honor can avoid some of the bugs that have cropped up with Anvil Next engine titles over the years. Director worked on Red Steel 2. How reliable could For Honor's combat be? If it helps, director Jason Vandenberg, the rugged bearded face of the development team, has quite the experience on hack-and-slash titles. He worked on The Lord of the Rings: The Third Age, and was even the creative director for Red Steel 2, the underrated but awesome motion-controlled slasher. That's not counting the experience he's had working on EA in its 007 titles like Nightfire, Everything or Nothing, and so on.
And that'll be about it for this one. If you guys like what we're doing at Gaming Bolt, please consider subscribing to our channel, and I'll see you guys on the next video.